All right, enough of that. Welcome back, everybody. Bear down, claws up, and bear down. I want to go over the NFL's new kickoff rules. I have a lot of people asking questions in the comments about it. Asked if we'd ever do a video. I put it off for a couple weeks. We're into the dead time, we'll call it, of the season, of the off season. So I want to go over those to make sure everybody understands how it works and show the advantages the Bears have, and also some of the reasons we might have some decisions on the roster and where we go with them. So the basics of the NFL new kickoff rule: kickers will kick off from their own 35-yard line. The 10 other players from the kicking team will line up on the opposing team's 40-yard line. The receiving team will have at least 9 players line up in the setup zone between the 35 and the 30-yard lines. 2 returners will be stationed in a landing zone from the 20-yard line to the goal line. No players except the kicker and returners can move until the ball is received by the returner, and returners can return the football wherever it lands. So let's just look at that here on the screen, how it looks. So we're going right to left here. You've got the kickoff man there at the 35-yard line with the X. You've got the other 10 guys lined up on the 40-yard line with the X's. The other team, at least 9 guys. So they can have 10 guys lined up on the line as well, and 1 returner. But with the landing zone being that big and kickers being able to place the ball so well, you'd think most teams have 2 in the landing zone. So they'll have 2 back there and 9 between the 30 and 35-yard line. That's where they'll line up. And then the landing zone is between the 0 and the 20-yard line. So let's go into more about what happens. So after the ball is kicked, the kicker cannot cross the 50-yard line, and the 10 kicking team players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or a player in the landing zone grabs it or it goes into the end zone. So that's contrary to what you're hearing right now. A lot of players are talking about how, a lot of people are talking about, Torrey Taylor can kick the ball, immediately run down there and be right up on the line of scrimmage before the ball even hits because he's got such good hang time. He can't cross the 50-yard line. And I realize he's big, but do you really want to risk him being injured? So that's one of the things that teams are going to, there's a lot, you listen to Richard Hightower talk about this, there's a lot of things they're going to have to play out. You're going to see in the preseason a lot of these kinks being worked out, a lot of things they want to work on to see. And you even hear rumors, we'll bring me in here for a minute while I yak, but you hear rumors about some teams maybe even experimenting with linebackers who might be able to kick so that they can have an extra tackler. That last line of defense, it might be more valuable when the kickoff team is lined up on the 40 and the return team's linemen or the first line of defense is lined up between the 30 and the 35, which essentially cuts down on the amounts of high impact injuries from getting a head start run. That's what they want to do. But the biggest reason they want to do this is 4 out of every 5 kick returns were being downed. They weren't being returned, and it became very boring. It's, the bathroom break when you're at the stadium or even at home and the kickoff happens, nobody wants to watch it anymore because 1 out of every 5 times. It's very different than when Devin Hester was returning the ball. So the league wants to put an emphasis on every play of the game being impactful, and this is going to do that. But the kicker might now become, because you don't have to kick it, you don't have to boot it out of the end zone. You want to land it right between the 20 and the end zone. So that 20-yard zone there of the landing zone is what they call it. Maybe a linebacker can do that very well and then still get up and be that last line of defense and be an excellent tackler. So we'll see what happens there. The last part, the receiving team's players in the setup zone cannot move until the kick has hit the ground or a player in the landing zone. So that's the guys between the 30 and the 35-yard line. Okay, so we'll run through this part quick, and then I'm going to show you on the map again. And then I'm going to go through the Bears players. So kickoffs that hit the landing zone must be returned. And this made me question what happens if they don't. What happens if it just lands and it goes, to the 2-yard line and nobody picks it up? Well, that's where it's going to be downed. That's where if the kicking return team gets down there and it's downed at the 2-yard line, so they have to return it. Kickoffs that hit the landing zone and then go into the end zone must be returned or downed by the receiving team. If it's downed, the receiving team would get the ball at its own 20-yard line. So balls are going to be placed at the 20, 30, or 40-yard line. So if it lands in there and the team lets it go and it goes into the end zone and they down it, it'll start at the 20-yard line. Kickoffs that go into the end zone and stay inbounds that are down would receive, they'd start at the 30-yard line. Kickoffs that go out of the back of the end zone start at the 30-yard line. When it goes to the 40-yard line is when you're short of the landing zone or it goes out of bounds. So in front of this orange line here, in the short area here, short of the 20, so if it doesn't make it that far, Or if it goes out of bounds to the left or right, you're going to start at the 40-yard line. So that's huge to have a good kicker. So it's gonna start at one of three places, or four places. Either the receiver, one of these two blue dots inside of the landing zone, are going to catch it and return the ball, or if it lands there, it can be downed inside anywhere inside of there, and that's where they'll end up starting from. Or if it goes out of the end zone or it lands in the end zone, starts at the 30-yard line, or before the landing zone, or out of bounds will be at the 40-yard line. So there's a lot. I mean, it changes the whole dynamic of the game here. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The preseason, this is one of the biggest things I'll be watching in the preseason. All right, so I tried to show some footage. I'm just going to break it down here. I couldn't show the video, but here's an XFL return. And you can see the red part there in the back. That's the landing zone between the 0 and the 20. They only have one returner back here. The kicker on the far right is getting ready. He's about to kick the ball right now. Now, it's a little different. I show the arrows at the bottom. Move those guys on the kicking team back 5 yards, because here, this is the first. So this video is from the first XFL kick return for a touchdown back in 2020. So you move those guys back 5 yards for the NFL's rules. They'll start on the 40-yard line, and then between the blue arrows is where these blue guys, the return team, that's where they can line up before it starts. So between the 30 and the 35-yard line. Then this is just after that, this is where it's kicked. This is where he receives it. So you can see they're just starting to move. They can't move until he gets the ball. He receives it at the 10-yard line. Then these guys can start to move. Then we see a lot of mayhem. You can see how they actually do a reverse. This guy at the top there is going to come around. He's going to take the handoff from number 17 there, go around the other side, and return it for a touchdown. You can see a couple of guys hanging back to be a line of defense. But with less impact, with less running start, that really is a line of scrimmage type thing. It's where these good players that can break through holes, if they break through the hole, they can take it to the house. So it's going to be really fun to see how this ends up playing out in the NFL. You're going to see more returns for touchdown this year for sure. And I've already made my prediction. I think Velus Jones is at least going to have one. I'm going to say he's going to have two. All right, so the important part for Bears fans, who are our options for kick returns? And number one is Velus Jones Jr. And I don't know why there's so much trash talk on him. That he had no fumbles, no muffs last year. He was one of the best returners in the league. 27.4 yards per return average was the highest in the NFL for qualified returners, were returners who had enough returns. He had 38 career returns in his career in the 2 years, 4.31 speed, and a 67 return grade in 2023, which is excellent. Tyler Scott's an option. He started the year. He was the first rookie to touch the ball. Because Velus Jones Jr. had his hamstring injury or quad injury, one of the two. And so he has 5 career returns, all happened last year, 21.6 yard per return average, and a 4.44 speed. So when you're looking at that, you look at Velus Jones having 27.4 yards per return and Tyler Scott having 21, and people talking about Velus Jones potentially being cut. It doesn't make any sense to me, because this is the same argument you have with Torrey Taylor being brought in as a 4th-round pick, being valuable as placing the ball within the 5-10 yard line, giving us the field position battle. That field position battle is going to be so valuable. 6 yards doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're starting 6 yards ahead of other teams, the average was 22 or 23 yards per return. So when you're starting 6 yards ahead of the other teams, that's field position battle. That's what we want. So I don't understand the hatred towards Velus other than the one, bad start to his muffed punts. People hang on to stuff too long. Anyways, Velus Jones is going to be a star this year. We're going to be so glad we have him. You're going to hear the tune of Bears fans' turn when he's returning. It's going to be completely different. We also brought in DeAndre Carter, as everyone knows. 118 career returns, 22.4 yards per return average, 4.44 speed. So solid returner. Probably brought more in. Like Dante Pettis, he's not a kick returner. He's a punt returner. So DeAndre Carter is probably going to compete with Dante Pettis for punt returns. That's my speculation. That's what I think. The other really good option here, 2 of them. I'm going to start with Khalil Herbert first. Roschon Johnson got the lion's share last year, and he's an elite blocker and an elite catcher as well. So he and DeAndre Swift, I see being the 1-2 punch. Khalil Herbert's coming at the end of his contract with the Bears. I don't know yet if he's going to get that extension. Nobody does. It doesn't seem likely. In fact, you hear rumors of him being a trade candidate. I don't like it because Khalil Herbert's so valuable on this team. I would honestly rather let the contract run out and use him this year. Many people might have a different viewpoint on that. They might want to get trade value out of him. To each their own, but I see value here on the kick returns too. And I think he should get some reps in the preseason. 32 career returns, 24.9 yards per return average, and 4.48 speed. He's done well when he's been a returner. The other huge option that I love, the reason I say maybe Kerry Blasingame is expendable, maybe Travis Homer, and people, if you hear Travis Homer can return a kick return, that's just not true. He's not quite up to snuff. He had a muff. Yes, he had a return for a touchdown, but go watch the return he had for a touchdown. It wasn't some spectacular return. It was kind of like dinky 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 dink. So I see Travis Homer and Kerry Blasingame being expendable, and Ian Wheeler could easily take one of their spots. Now, he's a rookie with 4.39 speed, 44 returns in college, with 3 of them going for touchdown, and very special when you watch him play. 26.4 yards per return average, and this is just off the top of my head. I don't actually have it on me, but I think this last year, his final year, 2023, I think he averaged over 30 yards per return, and he had like a 90 PFF grade for his returns. I mean, he's just special, and he's a great running back too. They don't show that enough, but he was just underutilized at Howard. He just wasn't played the right way. So I really like the option of Velus Jones Jr. and Ian Wheeler being both back there, both good-sized running backs too. Velus Jones Jr. could be a running back, wide receiver, but both 200-pound guys, both quick. I like the option of both of them back there. If you haven't seen my Ian Wheeler video, go check it out. Wheeler video. I'm going to add a little bit of the highlights here as we close it out here at the end to be able to watch. But I absolutely think he's a lock for this team because of the ability he has on punt return, kick return, and he can be that 4th running back as well. All right, I'll leave you with this. I'll leave you with...
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go